Hi. As you know, yesterday, because it's after midnight now, that thing got sentenced for only 13 years, which equals to 4 years, 4 months for each of our children. That's not justice. It's not justice, and the whole investigation is flawed. What you're seeing on the TV, when they're saying he lost control and clipped the curb and mounted the pavement, is not correct. Today, we had a meeting prior to the case starting, so us parents had to be there at 8:30 in the morning to have a meeting with the CPS and the crash scene investigator who wrote that crash scene report. So we was there so we could discuss with him the report that he had written. When we first go in there, our QC is in there. I found him quite rude. The first thing the QC says to us when we sit down is, "Prove to me it was murder." So they want us to prove to him it was murder. Shouldn't they be asking the police that? So we started explaining things, but every time we did, he would jump in. No compassion. Didn't even say to us, "Look, I can only go with what the police give us. I can only do that." No, it wasn't like that today. He did not sound like someone who was going to be representing us or had any compassion at all. In that meeting, Ian spoke to the crash scene investigator, was discussing the report and the fact that the report said he had control of the car. After that first manoeuvre through the bollards, which was a dodgy one, he had control of the car. Yet on TV and in the court, you get he lost control of the car, clipped the curb, mounted the pavement. No. So Ian said, "Well, if you get out the report, we can go through it." Crash scene investigator couldn't produce a report. Now, the report was there last week, but couldn't produce it today. Then another police officer said, "There's a bend in the road." No, there isn't a bend in the road. As soon as you get to the cemetery gates, straight. And prior to the cemetery gates, it's just a very slight curve, if you want to call it that. But it's straight there. And I said to him, "Why are you lying?" And then I asked him to not bother talking anymore because he was lying. And then after that, because me and Harry's mum left the room, he apologised and said he made a mistake. Really. It's not the only mistake. So then we go back in the room and the QC says to me first, our impact statement, he said he's crossed some words out and some sentences. Now, our impact statement was written on the 6th of the 3rd. You can see there, so I can show you. It was written, typed up on a witness statement. Before it gets put on this witness statement, the police go through it to make sure everything you have written is okay to say in court. Now, this was okayed by the police. They looked at it, fine to read. I signed it all, not a problem. They keep it on the day, and then on the day of the case, they give it back to you for you to read. The QC that was representing us gave me mine and said there were some things crossed off it. I said I was not happy with this, considering it was already been okayed, why, with just under an hour of going into court, are you telling me I can't read some of my impact statements? Therefore, taking some of the impact out of my impact statement. Ian, Harry's dad, had a full page taken out. Well, I say a full page, he could only read 3 lines, because that's how much they took out today. And on another page, half of it, when they'd had his statement for weeks, nearly 3 weeks. And then today, he gets told he can't read it all. We was told if we disagreed, then we wouldn't be allowed to read it. In my impact statement, the things they changed was they changed the word murdered to killed and the word murder to kill. The other thing that I wasn't allowed to read, or they didn't want me to read, was, which they've crossed out here, was, I would ask you to consider, and this is me addressing the judge, I would ask you to consider your sentencing and sentence for each boy separately and to run consecutively. We feel that if Mr. Chudasama serves the right sentences for all the boys at the same time, then if he only serves the sentence for one child and that the other 2 do not matter. That's what he crossed out for me to not read. And then what's happened today is our boys have ended up with the opposite. Not consecutively, they've ended up with concurrently. So, 13 years really is for one boy. The other 2 children didn't matter. And if you split that 13 years between the 3 boys, that's 4 years and 4 months for our children. 4 years and 4 months. I can't tell you how that makes me feel. I can't tell you how upsetting that is, because there's no words to describe it. No words. Our justice system, I don't know what to say about it. Our laws, I've got no words about them either. Tonight, a little while ago, about 30 minutes ago, I've emailed the Met Police and I've asked them for that crash scene investigators report, because that's what I need to have. That's our proof, or one bit part of the proof, I should say. The other thing, when we was in court today, prior to today, Mr. Chudasama has never been remorseful. No statements, no comments, no nothing. Interviewed twice, no comments. And then today, the day of sentencing, his barrister is coming out with, he wish it was him that day, wish it was him that died. Well, if you was in the court and saw this man, he has no remorse. That was to even get a less sentence. When the barrister was saying all these things, the barrister was trying to push to get 8 years. 8 years for our 3 murdered children. 3 murdered children, and the barrister was pushing for 8 years. And then I saw a report in the paper tonight about where they said he was weeping. No, he wasn't. He didn't have one tear in his eye. No emotion, no nothing. Nothing. I was there. I saw it. I saw nothing. No emotion, no remorse, no nothing. So today is the start of our fight to prove this investigation is flawed, to prove that some of the stuff that you're hearing on the news isn't correct. When we came out of court today, me and Harry's dad spoke to the press. We spoke to the press for about 20 minutes and we said to them how justice wasn't served, how this was a deliberate act. And guess what? Tonight on TV, didn't get shown. All cut out. That 20 minutes was put into a few seconds. The rest was cut out. So it's not just our justice system either, is it? It's the news as well, because they're not reporting it. So just to let you know, this is the start now of a very long journey of us trying to prove that this isn't correct. He was never on the right charge. It was either not looked into properly, or they already know and they're hiding it. Cover up. I believe it's a cover up because there's too many inconsistencies. We've had lies. Not just one lie. As I've said before, human error can happen and you can misinform someone of something, not intentionally. But this hasn't been one or twice. This has been from the start to the finish. You know? But if I can get that report, then I can show you a hard copy of what says he had control of that car. Thank you.